Welcome, listeners, to My Fantasy Wife, the weekly sports meets comedy meets marriage podcast, where a husband and wife discuss sports, fantasy leagues, and their impact on pop culture and relationships, including their own. I'm the wife, comedian Blair Postman. Yay! I'm joined by my husband and sports stat expert, Gary Hames.
Dead silence.
Our hot topics and social media maven is comedian Drew Harrison.
Woo!
There
Yay!
we go.
Yow! Oh my God.
That's your thing this month, isn't it?
What's that?
And rounding things out, sounds engineer, comedian, and man about town, Mr. Louis Bishop.
Oh, I was just waiting for Gary to do something.
Oh, hey.
Hey.
To never miss our weekly episodes, extras, and more, subscribe in iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at My Fantasy Wife Podcast, Twitter at My Fant Wife, and support the podcast with cool sponsor perks at patreon.com/My Fantasy Wife. Miss any of that? Go to our website, myfantasywife.com, with links to everything. Gary,
Yeah.
tell us about this week's sponsor.
Sure, Blair. This week's sponsor is Podhive. Podhive assembles quality, smaller to medium-sized podcasts and matches them with local and regional advertisers in the areas where those podcasts have their strongest fan bases. Advertisers benefit from the personal tone, dedicated audiences, and in-depth exposure podcasts offer, without paying large podcast prices for listeners in areas where they can't take advantage of their business. Now, if that's not a good business idea, I don't know what is. Now signing up new podcasts. Go to podhive.com for more information. That's podhive.com.
All right, thanks. Ooh. Ah, nice. That means we ended nicely.
Yeah.
All right, guys, excited to be here. For the listeners, it was a little touch and go. We had a bit of a hurricane come through last night in Wilmington, North Carolina. Hurricane Matthew. And thank you, Mr. Bishop. And luckily, I mean, Gary and I don't have power, but Mr. Bishop and the podcast recording studio do have power. So that's...
Is that the Scorpions?
Rock you like a hurricane.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That'll be our little theme song for tonight. Did you have any, hurricane stories, Drew? Anything, notable?
So my power went out at 8:45.
Yeah.
I went to sleep at 8:50
Okay, nice.
and woke up at 7:30
oh,
this
beautiful.
morning
All right.
and got power back about 8:45.
All right. There's a lot of symmetry
Right.
there.
Yeah.
What about you, Mr. Bishop? Any hurricane stories?
I was watching. I went and rented Deadpool
Oh,
and
okay.
watched that.
Right.
And then I was watching the second episode of Luke Cage on
Uh-huh.
Netflix. And then my power went out.
So you
Right.
crashed Netflix again?
Yep.
Is that what you're saying?
Oh, good for him.
And then I played Yahtzee twice, and then went to bed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you get any Yahtzees?
No.
What happens what is a Yahtzee
Five
again?
of a kind.
Okay, it's been a long time since I played Yahtzee. I wouldn't mind playing.
Yeah.
Gary, you
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I, the power went out about 8 o'clock. We were just finishing the first season of Supernatural,
Right.
which is, we'll have to watch that if our power's
Only
not back
10
on.
more
so
to
we
go.
know- yeah. And then we pretended like we might read something, and then we went to sleep. I think we were basically holding out to see if the power came back on to watch some more Supernatural. That's about it.
I'm glad you found my book. that I've been
Yeah, I
asking
did.
Months for years. But
I know. I got out. I'm like, oh, look at this. It's Mr. Bishop's book. And I bought a big pile of books and then read nothing.
what were some of the books that you pulled out?
I pulled out the Bhagavad Gita.
Oh. One of my personal favorites.
Yeah. I have it on audiobook, though, and I listen to it when I travel a lot. So I've heard it before.
If a religious-related text has more than 4 syllables, I can't read it.
What else?
The Bible. See, I can read
That's
that.
all you can do. And then we had what's the Habit book? The Power of Habit. I grabbed that one.
That's a good one.
I grabbed Age of Innocence
Brad Pitt
by
made a movie
Edith
out of
Wharton.
that, right?
Nah, Martin Scorsese, I think, did. I don't know if Brad Pitt was in that. And
What is Age of Innocence? What is
it's
that?
like a Edith Wharton, turn of the
I don't know.
19th and 20th centuries classic kind of fancy romance kind of book.
She said that to you as if,
It's kind of like Jane Austen, but 100 years later.
Bishop. It's a who?
Yeah.
Edith Wharton.
I don't even Edith. It's an Edith Wharton. What are those books?
Oh.
It's like Jane Austen, but 1900 instead of 1800. Kind of. Anyway, and there was another one I can't remember.
Now
what it
you
was.
know all about it.
Yeah, now I know what you're
Now
saying.
you know. So that's it.
That's all you had to say was that.
Right. That's all I had to say. So we had the most boring hurricane, because lots of people were doing party things.
Remember Pride and Prejudice with zombies?
Right.
Yeah.
Take the zombies away.
Okay.
Or the Pride.
So you just mean Pride and Prejudice?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Jane Austen.
Yeah. There you go. All right, guys. Well, this week, I feel like we've all gotten too much sleep. It's a little mellow here today. Coming up today, we're going to have our guest for episode 88, comedian Mia Jackson. Yay!
Oh, she's not. I thought it was somebody was missing in action.
No, Mia Jackson.
I got you.
And then October 16th for episode 89, Denver comedian Zach Moss, then Kara Clank and Jared Logan, and then comedian Brian Miller. So wonderful stuff coming up in October. And a little shout out to our contributor and fantasy league mate, comedian Donnell Dink Kearney. He's got a book out. He sat down and wrote a whole book.
No, he did.
Yes, he did. He
He
wrote
like
a whole
tore the
book.
cover off an existing book and put his own picture on it.
No, he wrote a whole book,
Eh?
and it's called The Sparrow Will Fly. It's available on Amazon. Gary, would you like to read the description there?
Paul Christian, a standout All-American high school basketball player, has one dream: to play NCAA Division I basketball. That dream is derailed his senior year when he's diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia with a 50% chance of survival. Crushed, his enthusiasm for life and basketball turns to anger and hatred, until he befriends Jericho Walls, a funny and positive-minded 13-year-old who is also suffering from terminal cancer. Unlike Paul, Jericho hasn't let the cancer stop him from living life to the fullest while helping rescued animals at the local wildlife rehabilitation center. What Paul learns from young Jericho will change his life forever.
Yeah, so that's Dink Kearney, Donnell Kearney. Look for The Sparrow Will Fly, Amazon.com. And I gotta tell you something. I haven't read the book yet. I'm not feeling good about Jericho Walls' chances.
Right.
It's the guy who teaches you the life lesson always does.
Oh,
That's
Well, not to
don't you
mention,
think?
Dink is a bitter, angry...
No, he's not. He's a joyful man.
He is?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's nice. He says nice things.
Isn't he the one where you always go, "Hey, Dink, what's up?" And he's like, "Nothing."
No, that's
not him?
No, that's
So I
absolutely
must be
not
thinking
him.
about somebody else.
Yeah, I think so.
Isn't he a Cowboys fan?
He's a Cowboys
Oh,
fan.
he must
So
be
he
a
has
good-
no hope
Must
in
be a
life
good guy.
whatsoever anyway. So it's
So-
okay. I think
Aw.
everyone's going to die.
Our
but
record's 3-1. What's your record?
Okay, hold it.
We're
Save
okay.
it.
We're
Save
okay.
it. Save it for the thing. Save it for the thing.
All right.
All right. So guys, let's do a little fact checking.
Okay.
You want to do a little fact checking? Oh, what's this? Wait a second.
This is my personal favorite Michael Jackson song on Dirty Dink.
I don't know this one. So the fact checking, folks.
Dirty Dink, really?
That was something in our messages. I like to do inside jokes.
Dirty
yes.
Darnell.
Super, Gary,
Darnell, yeah.
You know, an inside joke that only 3 or 4 people are gonna get. You love that.
No, I don't.
Usually, well, you didn't read your Facebook messages about this podcast.
No, I have a
today.
job.
I know. I know you do. Gary's been working overtime because of the
Gary's a
hurricane.
little burnout
He's a
on
little
work
burned
right
out. He's
Yeah,
been
nobody-
working like
nobody
overnight
needed-
all week.
Nobody
'cause of the
needed
hurricane.
batteries this week.
Yeah,
They said
Gary.
I didn't have
Yeah,
much to
there's
do.
a lot of batteries and generators returned and stuff. Okay, so fact checking, guys. This is the part of the podcast where we correct the mistakes we made last week to make room for the mistakes we're going to make this week. And last week we were talking about baseball with Mike Bridenstine, and Gary, you pulled out of that brain of yours the phrase, "Oh, that's the Tinkers to Evers to Chance era." And I looked blankly, but Mike Bridenstine knew what you were talking about.
Yeah.
And you guys said, "Oh, there's a poem," but neither of you knew the poem. And it's called Baseball's Sad Lexicon.
I was just about to impress you with the fact that I know their first names and I saw them written down there, so it won't be so impressive.
Well, that's okay. I was pretty impressed there was a real thing.
Right.
Anyway, when I Googled it, Baseball's Sad Lexicon, a.k.a. Tinker to Evers to Chance, after its refrain is a 1910 baseball poem by Franklin Pierce Adams. The poem is presented as a single rueful stanza from the point of view of a New York Giants fan watching a Chicago Cubs in the infield of shortstop Joe Tinker, second baseman Johnny Evers, and first baseman Frank Chance as they complete a double play. Gary, would you like to read the poem?
I'm having a hard time reading this.
These are the saddest possible words as Evers because we had a little printer error. Is mine-
Right. Tinkers to Evers to Chance. Trio of Bear Cubs and fleeter than birds, Tinkers and Evers and Chance. Ruthlessly pricking our Gonfalon bubble,
Yeah.
making a giant hit into a double, Words that are heavy with nothing but trouble, tinkers to Evers to chance. And that double, of course, recurs to a double play because what they were known for was not their hitting but their defense.
Yes. Yeah.
Greatest defensive infield of the 1910s.
Do you know any poems about sports, Drew?
No.
Mr. Bishop?
I feel like poems and sports should not be in the same
sentence. What about
sentence.
that Casey Stengel?
Nope.
I
just know Casey steps to the plate and he strikes out. That's all.
That once there was a man from Nantucket? Is
no,
that a sport?
I don't think that is about sports.
Does Red Rover count?
Well, I mean, we played a game called Red Rover.
And I know that.
Let Drew come over.
Yeah,
that one.
That's a poem, right?
Sure it is, kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any poems?
When did this become a literary podcast?
I'm sorry.
I don't like it.
Funny.
Well, we got a fairy tale next.
Well, funny you should say that. Mr. Bishop.
Yes.
Last week you debuted your evil alter ego character.
Right.
Which Gary dubbed a troll. And he said it was like the one featured in Billy Goat's Gruff. Mm-hmm. And we didn't all have a grasp of what that was.
I actually, I remember that when I was a kid.
I'm old enough that was read to me when I was growing up.
Yeah, and
did they just come out with it?
It just came out.
It came out. It's a Norwegian fairy tale from
scared the living crap out of me
1844. I'm sure your mother read you the really hardcore version.
So just let me get it straight. We're moving on from the 1910s back to 1844.
We didn't read in my household.
Yeah. Sorry, Drew. Sorry-ish. So it was published in 1844, and the story introduced three goats, sometimes identified as a youngster father and grandfather, but more often described as brothers. Gary, do you want to summarize the Billy Goat's
We're having some printing issues, but I will try.
However,
I've blocked this out, and if this brings...
I'll read it and you react.
Reading this.
I'll read it and you react, because I have a better copy than you.
Okay. Well, I don't know that I am, but...
The smallest Billy Goat is the first to cross.
All right.
And is stopped abruptly by the troll, who threatens to gobble him up.
I'll gobble you up, Gary!
Y'all are freaking
However,
me out.
the little goat convinces the troll to wait for his big brother to cross.
You should
more
wait.
meat.
Because he's larger and would make a more gratifying feast.
Yeah.
That sounds delicious, little goat Gary.
The greedy troll, and by the way, that's a dick move. The greedy troll agrees and lets the small goat cross. The medium-sized goat passes next. He's also stopped by the troll and given the same threat. The second Billy Goat is allowed to cross after he tells the troll to wait for the biggest Billy Goat because he's the largest of the three.
I will gobble you up too. Wait a minute, you're selling out your older brother? I like that. Go on.
The third Billy Goat then gets on the bridge and is stopped by the hungry troll. The third Billy Goat challenges him and knocks the troll off the bridge with his horns. The troll
dick!
The troll falls into the stream and is carried away by the current.
I can swim!
From then on, the bridge is safe, and all three goats are
murderers!
able to go to the rich fields around the summer farm and hills, and they live happily ever after.
I just wanted to share my candy, the gobstoppers, with you. I call them gobble-ups.
Except for the fact that they all knew that they each tried to sell each other out to the trolls.
So wait, they tried to sell each other out, and they were trying to steal from the farmers by eating their crops and grass anyway.
Yeah.
So really, the troll was the hero of this story, and they murdered him in cold blood.
Until he drowned.
Uh-huh.
I'll tell you, this was an illustrated book, too. And the 1960s illustrations are much scarier than they would be today.
Are you having flashbacks?
That troll was
He seriously almost
scary.
crawled out of his skin when y'all started doing that.
And
Mr.
I'm
Bishop
sorry,
is a
but
very
Bishop sounds like a
convincing-
effing troll.
He's
so.
a very convincing troll.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No problem, buddy.
I'm going to start working on my troll voiceovers.
Yeah.
This being brought to you by Advil. Advil. Take 2 a day.
But not more, because it.
But not more.
It can eat your...
Don't
intelligence.
gobble them up. Don't gobble them up. Just take 2.
Take 2 with no alcohol.
Right.
Very good. All right, guys. Well, that's that. Gary, you okay?
That was. Y'all won't appreciate this, but that was freaking me out a little.
I do. I'm siding with Gary that there was a lot more children and things being eaten by other things in old stories, and they've lightened them up a bit.
Well, I just remember when we did that
fables.
Santa Claus that.
Grumpus?
Yeah, well, that
was
whole
scary.
thing. But when we look back at the 19th century illustrations, they were scary.
No, they're not messing around. And Aesop's Fables, like, people just died at the end. They had to, all those Disney movies, they had to change the endings. So
Right.
Little Mermaid dies. Little Red Riding Hood dies.
Yeah, well,
I
things
think.
were much more like. Do you remember on the we'll turn to historical documentation, the Family Guy episode where
Right.
they all came to the New World.
That's how we get most of our historical information, Gary and I.
right.
It's mostly Fantasy Guy, and then we look up if it was accurate.
Fantasy.
Remember
guy.
how?
I mean, Family Guy.
how
Sorry.
how Peter, thinking that he's been banished and is not going to be with his wife, marries Meg. And then later,
Wait, what?
Lady Redbush comes to the New World. And Peter had to go through the complicated divorce proceedings of the time, which involved taking Meg outside and shooting her in the face.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just was a harsher time.
Yeah. It was a dark era, and there were trolls
Right.
and people selling each other out, or goats anyway. All right, guys. All right. Who's ready for a little hot topics?
All right.
Hot topics.
I really haven't had time to follow the baseball version.
Well,
It hasn't been that interesting.
we're gonna have to. Can we have the change music,
Yeah,
Mr.
sure.
Bishop? Just because. I actually am gonna start with something.
Was that a bluff? Oh no, it wasn't.
All
I thought
right?
he was bluffing.
Like Billy Goat Scruff,
I was gonna see what
Billy-
y'all.
Well, now he's got to hit it again because you
Lewis
talked
Bishop's
about
bluff. Okay, go
you
ahead.
talked about the past.
Yeah, Blair. Can we move on? When we move on, the change music means start over.
Sorry, Gary. I know how that upsets you. Hey guys, baseball's happening. Baseball's happening.
Blair, are you sure you don't want to say anything about what
Right,
we just
anything
talked
about
about?
Billy
Right,
Goat Scruff?
if you're
Are
gonna
you sure?
if you're gonna do me, you gotta do me. That sounds weird. Okay, let's have a little
I
change.
had a nickel for every time
let's-
she said that.
That's what I say too.
Right.
Oh goodness, he pays attention.
Yeah.
Gary loves me, sorta.
I'd say
Okay,
that.
change music again. Okay, for realsies, baseball's happening, guys. Lots of stuff. Playoffs. Mr. Bridenstine, I saw posted something positive happened for the Cubs. What's going on in the baseball playoffs, Drew?
The Red Sox are about to get eliminated.
Oh, by whom?
Are they really?
The
I haven't
Indians
seen
are
any of
up
it.
2-0.
Oh, cool.
And,
You know, I'm
and the
okay.
first round's best of 5. So all
Yeah,
they gotta do
I'm
is win
okay
one
with
more.
that because I like the Indians. I know I picked the Red Sox, but I
I'm
like
just
the
thinking.
Indians too.
I mean, can you imagine if it's
They-
Cleveland and Chicago in the World Series?
Yeah,
you
that'd
ma-
be big.
Can you imagine if Cleveland had 2 championships
They
back
break
to
the
back in
streak,
2
yeah,
different sports
that
in
Oh
the
my
same
God!
year?
What
Yeah.
will happen? They'll
Yeah.
be all become so happy.
They'd get rid of the Browns. They'd be like, you know what, baseball and basketball's good.
And maybe
enough
the
for us.
Browns will win it,
Get the
too.
fuck outta here.
Well, that's funny. We're going to talk about the Browns in a little bit.
Maybe
but,
the Browns will win it too.
and how are the
Nah,
Cubs?
I don't think so.
Cubs-
Cubs are about to eliminate the Giants. So-
Okay.
And the Blue Jays are about to eliminate the only series that's worth watching at this point
Mm-hmm.
is the Nationals and Dodgers because they're tied 1-1.
All right. And if you, unless you are a Cubs fan, for example, in which case you want to watch because you want to savor every possible moment,
wait till
and
it
you're
counts.
nervous. I would still be nervous.
Wait till it counts.
I'll predict right now that the Cubs will be about to win Game 3. There'll be 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth, and somebody will pop up the ball to third base, and a fan will reach out and knock it out of the third baseman's glove, and then the other team will go on to win the next 3.
No,
That's
was
my
that the
prediction.
greatest ever? That was like one of the...
Where was that? Baltimore.
Where is he at?
Yankees?
That's what happened the
Where's
last
he-
time the Cubs got
Where's
knocked
he
out
at
of the playoffs. They
Is
ran
he
him
in
out of
witness?
Chicago.
Is
He
he
had
in
to-
witness
he had to
protection?
move to a foreign country.
We looked that up for like a year ago. One of the podcasts we looked up.
one
and
of our
he,
10 stories.
Yeah, he doesn't do interviews. It's not been
Good
good for
for him.
him.
Good
Yeah,
for him.
he lays low. That guy.
Yeah, because they want to murder him still.
Well, yeah, he lays low. Maybe if the Cubs win, he can come out and live a life.
maybe.
Wait, weren't the Cubs in the... how far did they get last year?
They lost the first
They
round.
lost the
got
first round.
swept
Oh, did
out.
they?
Yeah.
Oh.
Had a great year and then didn't even win a game.
What's going on in my head? I thought they went to the World Series last year.
It felt
Nah,
that way
it
because
was-
they won.
It was
some
Mets
things.
and Royals last year, wasn't
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yep.
yeah.
And you want to be Royals. All right, guys. Next topic. Another hot topic. Hot topics. Another. There we go. Because why not? What's going on in NASCAR, Drew?
it? It actually was a decent race today.
It was a good
I was
race.
hanging out with Tyler, so I had to watch some of the
I
race.
saw Laura Cahoy
Yeah,
on
she's at the
Facebook,
race.
and
Yeah.
I'm like, "What's up?" She's at NASCAR today.
She is.
What's going on with the NASCAR?
A lot of wrecks today.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
are they out in
As
Charlotte?
is
Right?
usually the case in the Charlotte races.
Yes.
Why
a lot
is
of the
that?
Chase guys
Big,
got knocked
fast
out of
track.
it. Yeah. Yeah. And Jimmy Johnson got a win. And the funniest part of the entire race to me was he was doing the after race celebration burnout, and they didn't turn off the radio between him and his crew chief. And his crew chief was like, "I didn't even think you knew how to do that still, because it's been
Oh.
so long since he won a race."
That's a better hot mic story than some other stories that happened
Yeah,
this
it
week.
could have
which
gone
we're not
sour.
going to talk about.
It could have gone sour.
That's adorable and cute. Yeah. That's,
Yeah, they didn't grab anybody by any of their body parts.
Yeah, not that we know of. They didn't leave it on that
They
line.
weren't
Allegedly.
stupid enough to say it in an open mic.
Allegedly.
With
Right.
Billy Bush.
Maybe Jimmy Johnson will be president.
Hey, your Cowboys are winning by 3 touchdowns.
Woohoo! Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, that's something.
Against Cincinnati, no less. It's
Yeah.
not a bad team. I'm telling you, this is our year.
All right. Well,
We're
wait a
going-
second. Hold
We're
it.
going further than all the
No,
way.
hold on.
Until- gonna win last year's
until
Super Bowl.
Romo comes
Could
back.
go back in time
Yes.
and win past Super
Yes.
Bowls. Okay.
You as a Cowboys fan, I know what they're gonna do, but you as a Cowboys fan,
Right.
do you want Romo to play over Prescott?
Okay, well, now we're just going to go into this.
That's a good
part,
question,
I guess.
though.
I mean,
So
we're not even in. We didn't do the change music. We didn't do the NFL
it's
music.
a poser, though.
We didn't.
I just saw what your next topic was and wanted to avoid it altogether. So that's why. Sorry.
Well, there's certain like things that people expect to hear. You know, like
It's
the
hitting comedy
dun
bingo.
dun dun dun.
That's not one of the
like
words.
I didn't get to do that.
Okay, well I'll take back my question. Just because
Gary's
that's
gonna
how bad.
keep making
That's how
this
bad I
noise.
want to hear the da 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 da.
Could you play the while Gary's doing the? Can you do the?
I'm stuck. That's a tough question.
Yeah. Hey, let's.
That should give you plenty of time to think about your answer.
Hey
Yes,
guys.
my answer is yes. Yes.
Okay, wait. What was the question?
Yes. I don't know. What was it?
Do you want
yeah.
Romo to play when he gets back?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Hey guys, let's.
But I had to think about it. Ask me again next week.
Okay, or later. Let's talk about football, and it was totally my decision to do that and skip over Tiger Woods stuff.
Tiger Woods sucks.
Gary. All right, guys. First
Perfect.
football topic, and look, no one's more upset about this than me. Nobody is more
I'm
upset
certainly
about
not.
this than me.
Can I see the score sheet?
Yeah, I mean, you can look at it if you want to. It's a disaster.
Don't unhinge me because you're gonna like this song. She doesn't like it, but you're gonna like it.
Well, here, okay.
Fucking
let me
Jaguars. The
Let me explain.
goddamn
Let me
Jaguars.
explain to the audience. So, in our Pick 5 league, the winner last week was Gary, and here's the problem.
Here's
Gary,
the problem.
The winner each week gets to pick a victory song. Gary
We had to
wants.
listen to Devo last week.
Gary wants, but it's a song. This is like a man
This is a song,
speaking.
too.
He's just talking. There's music in the background, but he's just
But
talking.
you know what else there is?
And doing rhymes. What about that nice Smokey and the Bandit
Nope.
song?
Nope.
Oh, I was
No.
kind of looking forward to
We
that.
can do it next time when I win. But
I like the Smokey and the Bandit song. All right, so this is the song.
Are you cracking open a victory drink?
I am victory.
Diet Dr Pepper.
Right.
That means Smokey and the Bandit, Dr Pepper. That means even more so. We should be playing
Why?
the
Jesus, Gary.
and give me a goddamn Dr Pepper or whatever.
Actually, if you're gonna do it correctly.
oh, you do it right.
Give me a Diablo sandwich and a Dr Pepper and make it fast. I'm in a goddamn hurry.
There we go.
Right? Shouldn't we play that song?
No.
Oh.
Next time.
All right. So Gary
Here we
wants
go.
us to play "Wet Dream" by Kip
Beef for tea
Dada,
justice.
and this is the
It
song.
was
This-
April the 41st. Being a
I thought he was about to start
quadruple
rapping.
year,
well,
I was driving in downtown Atlantis.
In a
My
rented
Barracuda
Stingray.
was in the shop, so I was in a rented Stingray, and it was overheating.
guys, you see,
So I pulled into a Shell station.
get it?
They said I'd blown a seal.
It's all
I said,
about
fix
sea
the damn thing and
creatures.
leave my private life out of it, okay, pal?
damn.
Right.
It's about water too.
While they were doing that, I walked over to a place called the Oyster Bar.
Ah, the
a
oyster
real
bar.
dive.
Ah, get it
But I
diving.
knew the owner. He used to play for the Dolphins.
Ah, ha, ha, ha.
I said, "Hi, Gil."
Flipper Anderson.
You have to yell. He's hard of hearing.
Herring, heart of herring. There's a fish also. That was also a fish reference.
Gulf Stream.
Gary knows every word. He knows every word and he knows every pun in it. And he thinks they're great to bring up at random
Gil was
times.
also down on his luck. Fact is, he was barely keeping his head below water.
Get it?
I bellied up to the sandbar. He
Okay.
poured me the usual.
We have
Rusty
to-
snail, hold a grunion, shaken, not stirred. With
Okay.
a peanut butter
we
and
good now?
jellyfish
Are
sandwich.
we good?
on
Peanut
the
butter
side.
jellyfish sandwich.
Yeah, I think we're good.
I think we're good.
I slipped him a fin
On
on
purpose.
purpose.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
was
it.
feeling
Yeah,
good.
that's the
I
money.
even dropped a sand dollar in the box for
For
Jerry.
Jerry
That's the
Squids.
money.
Oh,
All right.
nope.
Every word.
There's
Gary
about
knows
400
every
more
word.
Yeah.
puns.
How did you come to know of this song?
It was on some CD I had 20
He's
years ago.
meant to know that song. It
That-
is
I mean,
destiny that he knows
I
that
can't
song.
tell
Forget the
you-
Codsbill. That
He
guy's gonna need
wrote
a
half
sturgeon.
that song.
Did you hear that? Forget the Cods Guild.
Salmon
Was
Enchanted Evening.
surrounded by screaming groupers.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh God. It's just I mean, we will be
a
like
great song.
driving to a funeral or something, and then Gary will say,
Forget the cods, Gil. He's gonna need a sturgeon.
yeah, or something like that. He'll just out of nowhere. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I'm hard of hearing. Like out of nowhere, I'm like, oh, right, the fish song.
The best part about that song we didn't get to is that there's one line where he goes, "That guy drinks so much. He drinks like a, well, he drinks a lot." Like the one fish pun that anyone's ever heard of. He wouldn't make.
Get it?
I get it.
That's my
Because of
favorite
his,
part.
because you see, he just circled it back. He did a thing there where he
my favorite part.
changed it up.
All right,
Could we hear the Smokey and the Bandit song just to, I don't know, just for kicks?
as a change of pace.
Yeah,
Just
sure.
as a change of pace. All right, so Gary, you won the pick 5, and
What was this?
no. I mean, I can't even tell. Gary and I have been together 13 years or something like that. It just comes up a lot. It comes up a lot.
Right.
All right.
Do you two have a side bet on the game this week?
Which game?
What? Oh no, because we're playing each other
Oh, that's right.
in the fantasy. So what are our fantasy league standings there, Drew?
It wouldn't be fair, Drew. My team's good.
Okay. What are your
You're only
fantasy?
projected to win by 2.
Yeah,
Ah,
motherfucker. Mother Fisher.
Alex,
Is
I
that
guess it
funny
won't
because
count.
I said fish?
Yeah.
You're a
Alex-
bad mother Fisher. Ha ha. He's just almost spit his Diet Coke out. Oh, thank God. Oh, let's get this going.
This isn't a more appropriate song.
Eastbound.
So what are our standings there?
Alex Conti is the only undefeated person, but have no fear. I will personally take care of that this week.
All right, fair enough.
What's the projected score?
I'm supposed to win by 3.
Ah, see?
All right.
And Team Red Rockets is leading his West Division.
Yeah, you're crushing it this week right now, Lewis.
Thank you.
You were.
He's projected to lose.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you were crushing it. I don't know what happened. You had a player who scored 27 points. That was a lot. I don't know who it was.
Yeah.
Who was it,
You
Drew?
said I'm leading the West Division?
Yeah,
Like
you're
you-
leading your division.
Really? So I'm like the winner of my whole division?
Right
At the
now.
moment. You're the leader. Leader in the clubhouse.
All right.
Lucky Mother Funches is going to beat him by 4 points projected.
Oh, well, we'll see. We'll see. Something must have happened. Somebody must have got
He's down by
benched.
2 points, and he has one person left to play, and she has one person left to play.
All right. What other anything else notable in our fantasy leagues? I know I've got one win. I think
It's going to go down to the wire between 2-2 Timmy Booth auto-drafted heroes
Yeah.
and 2-2 Mills Maxwell-led Toon Squad.
that looked tight.
Who's that? Mills Waxwell?
Yes, Mills Waxwell.
Waxwell.
Exactly. Local TV personality, Mills Waxwell.
See?
Woo! It's hard. It's hard to say it. So just before we get more into the NFL, we were mentioning Cleveland and how amazing it would be if the Indians won the World Series the same year that the Cavaliers won something. And there's this little poll that came out this week, and 62% of Ohio voters think Ohio State's football team could beat the Browns.
There's no way.
Not a chance.
No?
My
The game is way
absolutely-
too fast.
My money is on the Browns to win by about 40 points in there.
Oh, really?
The
Okay.
game's just way too different. That's grown men and college kids.
Okay. Well, I don't know. They look pretty big.
No.
No? Okay. So that's just silliness.
No, every year Ohio State has 8 to 10 players drafted somewhere in the draft. An NFL team, every player on the team was drafted.
That's
over the
true.
course of
You know what?
10 years.
There's really no denying that logic, actually. Never really thought of it that way. Yes, all of them made the NFL
Yeah.
instead of just the top
Yes,
players
if
of
No,
the
Ohio
college.
State's
It's a big
team-
question on if they'll still be in the NFL after this year, but
Right,
they
but
are
as
currently in the NFL.
As of right now, currently in it. All right. So what were some surprises this week, this past week in the NFL, or some surprises going on now?
I think Atlanta beating Denver up is pretty good. I mean, Atlanta's good this year.
Well, if you saw Atlanta play last week, you were betting the over on that game because that was. I guess you did see him
Why
play.
we gotta talk about that? I don't understand why that has to be a thing.
I just saying.
Speaking of surprises, the Cowboys are winning.
No, but what are some surprises? Some teams that are like surprising people.
This
and
would be
that
the
kind
first Cowboys 4-game winning streak since like 2012 or something.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a lot. And is Tony Romo playing?
No.
It's still the other guy.
Yeah.
Zach.
Romo was.
Dak.
They did not. Put
That
him-
was pretty close for me.
Jack?
I got a rhyming word.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good for
The
me.
Lions
What is his
surprised
name?
some people. Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott.
That sounds fancy.
Yeah.
The Lions ended
Well,
the
Lions,
Eagles win streak,
The Lions were horrific last week.
and the Redskins beat the Ravens.
Yeah.
All right. What about like players?
Tom Brady's back.
Yeah. Now
He had a hell of a game too. Did you see mine?
Gronkowski's back.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Brady threw for like 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, it was stupid.
Oh, that must be why I closed
And the
in
other-
on Gary a little
The
bit.
other
because-
tight end, I think, caught 3 touchdown passes.
Bennett. Yeah.
Bennett.
He's
caught
great.
3
He's a
touchdown
great
passes.
touchdown or a great tight end.
But Gronkowski was good for 105 yards. I was looking at that on the way over here while I was supposed to be driving the car, and they
we just had a hurricane. There's not going to be anything in the
I'll
roads.
tell you who was famous for running nothing but 2 tight end sets? The New England Patriots, when they had that murderer along with Gronkowski.
Right.
no, he wasn't a murderer back then.
But
Well, I don't know about that.
Innocent until proven guilty, folks.
he was a murderer. He's a murderer when he commits the murder.
Innocent, but they didn't prove it yet.
But we didn't know it. But he was still a murderer then.
Going
Okay.
with Gary's logic of all the players on the Browns were drafted by the NFL, he was a murderer when he didn't get murdered. So the players that got drafted were NFL players when they got drafted. So that's my logic.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy, I think.
You're welcome.
Yeah. But what
I'm
what
agreeing with
about
you.
what are the big plays, the big players? What are the expectations this year? Who's looking good? What players are you kind of like thinking, oh, hey, that guy, he sure seems great.
Have the Rams played yet today? Like, apparently.
Yeah, they're playing.
Did they win or lose?
No, they're losing right now, apparently, to the Bills.
You tell me if this was like that's the 4:00 radio game, and it's like before the season started, you would push that game off a cliff.
Right.
But the Rams have lost 1, the Bills have lost twice, and that's a headliner.
And the Bills are winning today.
Yeah. Yeah, the Rams are awful on offense. I can't believe.
Where did Gurley go? God damn.
I don't know. Now there's your there's
What's
one. He was in many of my 30 some drafts. He was the number 1 player taken, and he's terrible. He disappeared off the planet. That's former Coastal Carolina star
Right.
Todd Gurley.
You mean
Right.
former Georgia stand-up?
Yes.
And so what's going on with those 19,000 fantasy leagues you got going on
Well,
there?
it's interesting.
What do you know? What's some trends?
I'm not doing as well this year as I did last year, thanks to week 3, where I went 4-21 in my first 25 set.
That's not good.
That's a word. I mean, it was.
That's like even like.
Was it
like
certain
just-
players, or
yeah,
did you
look
just
at the
play
draw,
against?
you
Because
could do better
I
than
have
that.
a lot of the same people. Like there were
I think
certain.
you'd want to mix it up.
Yeah, but
Then
you
you're
just,
pulling
then
for
everybody's
everybody.
8-8.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Certain things like I thought C.J. Anderson for the Broncos was going to have a bounce back here,
Oh,
so I
yeah.
took him in almost all the leagues because he was a top 10 player last year, and this year he's going in the 5th round. I think it's been 1
Might as
year,
well,
you know,
yeah.
and he's had actually a pretty good year. He's the 5th running back or so. But when he does poorly, train wrecks half my teams. So
Yeah.
no, I'm good. At the end of the year, I'll be good. The cat team is. I told you,
crushing
I
it.
turned the thing on last week at 11 o'clock Sunday morning. They already had 92-0.
Wow.
That's no joke. I showed you.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
they're crazy good. We're lucky. The cat themed teams happen to have a lot of good offensive players.
Yeah, it's a good time to be a cat.
Yeah.
Um,
And I can't get Cam Newton. If I could have had Cam Newton, it'd be even better.
I could give you Cam Newton now. Let me ask you guys this. So Drew, had you heard this? Gary said to me last week after the podcast, maybe it was, that the Jaguars or the NFL was looking to possibly relocate the Jaguars to London. Is that something that you have ever heard also?
I've heard about it, but the last I heard about it, they were saying it'd be hell on travel arrangements.
Yeah, it would be. It would be.
They were looking at Toronto before London.
Okay. And so that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
You don't have to get the time change probably.
think-
Would
I
you
think
be
Jacksonville would still be the team that would go to Toronto.
would you be
Yes,
in
it
favor
would.
of that?
Yeah, I think that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, Jacksonville, who gives a shit? You know?
Well, people in
That team's
Jacksonville.
got to come out of Jacksonville. They don't even sell the games out. That's the only team in the NFL doesn't sell the games out.
Right.
I still think they're going to London. It is going to be hell on travel, and I think they're going to do it anyway.
Really?
Yeah.
And what about you, Mr. Bishop? Are you in favor of
That's more 9
American
o'clock
football
AM
going
I know.
football game.
American football
6 a.m. in
going to London? What do you feel?
Yeah, I think that'd be good, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen in London first. I mean, I think it'll go to Toronto, or listen, how about the Mexico City Jaguars?
Yes,
Well-
they play in Mexico City every year, too.
That
They've
makes
actually
more
never
sense.
played in Toronto. They play in Mexico City every year.
Right.
I think that opens up the whole South American region to them, but I think that's more lucrative than putting them in Toronto. It seems like.
Yeah, because I mean,
potentially-
Canadians have the Canadian Football League. You
Yes,
know, like
as
they can
we
watch that
discussed
if they
last
want
week.
to.
Yeah.
Which-
They can watch
As
that if they
terrible
want to.
as terrible as it is, they still have football.
Yeah, sort of football, although they don't have enough downs. We
just
could
think-
have like a Montezuma's revenge meter for the Mexico City. Like, I mean, seriously, if you're an NFL player from the United States and you had to live and train in Mexico City, there'd be food issues.
Right.
Because
And
the
there would
water
be
is full
kidnapping
of
issues.
Well, yes.
Yeah,
too.
that would be more. I mean, with the amount they make, that would be a bit of a concern. I would think.
Do you think that the London team, if they moved it there, would be called the London Silly Ninnies?
I would hope so.
That would be great.
That would be great.
That would be great.
fantastic.
Again, that's a Family Guy reference for the use that you don't watch as
That
much
was a
Family
great
Guy as-
episode.
That was-
That is
that-
a
Great episode.
That's the
fantastic
best
episode.
episode ever because
Tom
in
Brady.
addition to the Tom Brady side, the other theme is Stewie beating the living crap out of Brian for not paying his money
Yes.
back.
Where's
which
my
is-
money?
which
And
is
the you
fucking
got the whole
hilarious.
reunion element into
Yes.
it.
Where's
It was
my
great.
money? Where's my money?
Oh, you got
Oh,
money
hey.
for a fake mustache, but you can't pay me back?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Bri.
That's great. Hey, Brad, what's going on?
That
now
him
now
beating
we've got
up
this-
Brian for money is
That's
a little
genius.
bit ahead of when Stewie took steroids and bullied
Yeah,
Brian.
Yes.
yeah.
Like, oh, where you
that
going?
one's good
Oh.
too. But
Yeah, they're my faves.
fucking, there's a flamethrower on him. It's fantastic. Shoots him in the
you
knee.
got my money?
Huh? Oh, yeah, I'll pay you soon.
Yeah, well, here's a suggestion. Have the money by tomorrow and there won't be any problems.
Huh?
Yeah, 24 hours.
Why? What happens in 24 hours?
I don't know. Not psychic, man. I'm just saying it would probably be better for everybody if you
That-
had the money tomorrow.
Yeah, all right, I'll see what I can do.
Sweet, great.
Sweet, sweet.
How's everything else going?
Good.
All right. See you later.
That is
Don't forget. Nah, you're not going to forget.
that is word for word what Lewis says to everyone when
yes,
he
it
worked
is.
at the strip
Hey now.
club.
So,
Yeah.
it's been 24 hours. Got my money?
Oh, you know what? Just give me till next Friday. I'll have it for you.
Oh, that's funny.
What
I could have
happens
sworn
when
I said
people
have it
don't take
today.
you
Yeah, I don't have
seriously.
it. Sorry.
Oh, well, all right then. That's good, OJ. Yeah, that hurt? That hurt?
What the hell?
Yeah, it feels so good, does it? No, huh?
No. Well,
Yeah, that's what happens, man.
Oh, my God!
Yeah, that's what happens. Where's my money?
Where's my money?
people don't respect you if you don't set boundaries.
Where's the money?
Okay.
You like that? That feel good? That feel good?
This gets very upsetting, actually.
Where's the money, man?
Yeah, it goes on and on. It gets a little upset. People don't respect you unless you set clear boundaries for
Can't
them.
believe he cut it off before he shot him in the knee.
Well, I get if you watch it,
Right.
it's very upsetting. It's like very believable cartoon violence.
My favorite is the
It's-
next time though when he
What-
wears the mustache.
Well, yes.
That's fantastic.
But here's the thing. Okay, but we're off topic a little bit. I feel like we cheated. Like we couldn't think of anything interesting to say, so we
Morning.
listened.
Good day to you, sir.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Hey, wait a minute, what the hell?
Morning.
Getting real tired of you ducking me, man. Yeah?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's what the baseball bat, right?
Driving iron, putting iron.
Where's my money? Where's my money?
Oh God!
Yeah, you got money to pay for fake mustaches, huh? Yeah. How much you pay for that fake mustache?
Okay.
$2.99.
Okay. I let it go that long because it's a very funny line.
That is the
but
funniest
it's
one ever.
very upsetting to watch. It's
That's
very
it's a
real.
cartoon.
That's the side
No, but
one.
it's
That's
so-
the side one to
that's-
Tom Brady being on
Yeah,
the freaking
that's
show.
the second part.
Yeah,
of
that's
the show.
incredible.
Yeah.
That's a great show.
It's, well, I don't think we're the first to think that.
It's gonna
But
stick around if they keep
We're
it up.
just gonna do like a podcast where we
Well, it
just
did get
replay our
canceled.
favorite.
Didn't it get
episode.
canceled after
It
a
got
year?
canceled. They
Yeah.
brought it back. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's great.
Wow. Okay, I got a little off track in my brain. Is there anything else about football or about people moving? There's no city in the United States where anybody should move.
Vegas is where.
Yeah. What about Vegas? That seems like the place.
It's
to-
pretty
think
much
that's-
gonna
that's
happen
gonna
for the
happen,
Raiders.
yeah.
Wait, are they going to move Jacksonville
No,
there?
they're gonna move the
They're gonna
Raiders.
The Raiders.
Oh,
When I was a kid,
right.
And I think San Diego is going to go to Oakland.
Oh, okay.
when I was a kid, this old guy talked to me one time, and he thought that Jacksonville, North Carolina, was the people that got the Jaguars.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he thought that two teams went to the Carolinas.
You could have gone all
yeah,
to all the games. That'd
yeah.
be great.
I was like 10 or something. So
Hey.
I didn't pull this guy's.
Was the guy named Coach Jerry?
He was, yeah, Coach Jerry.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow, that's exciting.
yeah. Talk to me about the Bears. It was crazy.
Well, guys, let's give it a shot. Let's try to call. Let's
And
try
the new franchise is awarded to the 384th biggest city in the United States.
It's not a big place.
Just so Green Bay wouldn't feel bad anymore.
Right.
Just so people know, there is a Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Sort of.
No, it really exists.
It's no Jacksonville, Florida.
No, of course not. But we did a whole their greatest citizens thing a few
Maybe
weeks
we could
ago.
have a Jacksonville, North Carolina, or Jacksonville, Florida quiz next week.
Well,
All right.
Okay. You know what?
Kelly decided, all right, yep.
We will consider that and put it under consideration.
All right.
All right, guys, are you
Do you
ready?
have a suggestion box at your house?
Bucket?
Like, if you need
Yes,
to say
we're
something
very-
to Blair, you have to put it in the suggestion box?
We're very organized.
Okay.
He has to put it in the
Yeah,
suggestion
submit it in
block,
writing.
Submit it in writing, or make an appointment of some
Gotcha.
kind.
Gary, I have read through your suggestion box, and I agree. The Corn Dog Tuesday sounds wonderful, but there will be no.
Like I call a meeting. Like
Bracket.
I'm not even addressing him directly. I'm like, hey everyone, thanks for all the suggestions. And it's
Yeah.
him and the two
She
cats.
just publishes in her blog, and it's my
Right.
responsibility to read it online.
Yeah, exactly. I want you all to know I'm
You get
really
the
on board
newsletter.
with Corn Dog Tuesdays. And thanks for everybody for
All right, everyone. The luncheon is stopped. It's meeting time. Corn Dog. All right. Thank you for all being fine workers at the company.
Blair Postman Industries.
First on the docket, Corn Dog Tuesday. I was
Is that
voted
what I
out
sound like?
I fucking want corn dogs now.
2 to
I
1.
know.
We're having
I'm hungry
corn
now.
dogs. Yeah. Is that what I sound like to you, Lewis?
Huh?
I sound you sound like Margaret Thatcher or something. Is that what I sound like to you?
You wish you sounded like Margaret
I
Thatcher.
know. I do. I like his version of me better than my real
Right.
version of me. So I'm just
my name's
wondering.
Blair
I'm like,
Postman.
hey,
My
maybe.
friends call me the Iron Lady.
Yeah. Well,
All
hey.
right, we're going to try to call Mia Jackson now.
Yes,
just
we
to
are.
see if we're going to get her on the phone.
No, we're gonna get her on the phone.
Gary.
She's probably not going to answer. She's missing in
No.
action.
Okay. Here you go. Stop it.
What time does she have to be an adult?
See, the microphone's at the bottom.
Okay, I was going to say, did you call her and she just heard all that? She's like, what the hell's going on? What is going on there?
Hello,
Yes. Is this Mia Jackson?
this is Mia.
Mia, this is Blair Postman, and you're on the air with my Fantasy Wife podcast. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Wonderful. Hey, let me go around the bend here and tell you who's with us. We've got my husband and sports stat expert, Gary Hames.
Howdy.
Hey, hey, hey.
And we have our social media maven, comedian Drew Harrison.
Hey.
Hello.
And our sound engineer and man about town, comedian Louis Bishop.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
It's so good for you good of you to join us. And if at any time you have trouble hearing us, by all means, just let us know and we'll fix that for you.
Okay, hold on one quick second. I think let me switch, put my Bluetooth on so I can be mobile.
Okay, that sounds nice. Well, you do that. I'm going to do a little introduction of you.
Okay.
Mia Jackson, listeners, is a bona fide Georgia peach, a self-proclaimed know-it-all, and always wondered what would happen if she took her sense of humor to the stage. That's exactly what she did. After graduating from the University of Georgia, she hit the local comedy scene and has thrilled audiences since day one. She's appeared on Oxygen, TLC, Nick Mom's Night Out, and was recently featured as a semifinalist on Season 9 of NBC's Last Comic Standing 2015. Everyone, big round of applause for Mia Jackson. Wow, there's enough people in here that it sounds like a lot of applause. That's nice. I like that. Hey, Mia, so I hear that, or we ask all of our guests to tell us a little bit about the sports stuff that they're either obsessed with now or that they've been obsessed with ever in their life. And you said that you were a huge basketball fan. Is that right?
This is true. Yeah, growing up, I was huge. I loved, like my favorite, I was really into NBA because I played basketball myself in high school and I was terrible.
Oh.
So that is super.
We won't linger on that.
Everybody's. Yeah, no. Yeah, because this is the thing, because everybody sees me and they're like, oh my gosh, she's 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
That was amazing. And then a horrible disappointment.
Uh-huh.
So,
Right.
But as a result, though, I liked, hold on, what did I do?
Are you having technical difficulties?
Okay, now I'm good. All right. But I played basketball, and then, so playing it got me into watching it because I, for some reason, thought that if I just watched it, then I would somehow pick up some skills.
Sure. Like
that
training.
did not work. So I was all into like the Like, I loved the Bulls. I loved the Phoenix Suns when I was a kid.
Who were your favorite players when you were in high school?
Oh, you know what? When I was in high school, my favorite player, I loved Alonzo Mourning. He was this is the thing, I was more impressed by the fact that he went to Georgetown. And I was just like, oh my God, he's so smart.
Right. Do you still think that's how it works?
Hornets. Oh, right. And I was just like, oh wow, like that's amazing. But then he played for the Hornets, and I love the Hornets, and that was like the one poster I had on my wall. It was Alonzo Mourning, and then I used to collect basketball cards too.
Oh, so really?
I was super into it. I mean, I love Shaq. I mean, just anybody that came up in the early to mid 90s, like I was into it. That was my thing.
Oh, okay. So you were that was your era, the 90s there.
That was my thing. Oh yeah, that was my thing. Yeah, I loved it.
So do you still think Alonzo Mourning like super did well on his SATs, or have you come to believe that maybe something else got him into Georgetown?
But you know what? See, that's the thing. Just because I knew the history of the program there,
okay,
I kind of felt like he kind of was actually smart. That's what I thought.
He might be. I don't know how much.
I think he's pretty smart.
I don't want to burst all your bubbles, but anybody can go to Georgetown. I myself have been there about 20 times.
No, she means actually admitted to the university. Actually admitted to.
All right. Well,
were you an Alonzo Mourning fan, Drew?
I was more of a Grandmama fan. But
I don't know what that is.
it was
Larry.
I remember Grandma.
It was Larry Johnson's alter ego on the tennis shoe commercials.
Oh, and he
Grandmama.
was on those also. Yeah.
No, the Hornets. The best years of the Hornets were Alonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson, and Muggsy Bogues.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they had Dale Curry on the perimeter.
And Muggsy Bogues was 5'3". It was amazing. He was a great point guard.
I have a signed autographed picture of Muggsy Bogues.
Oh, do you? Now, is this when they were in New Orleans, or were they back in
Charlotte?
They were in
Charlotte.
We don't like to talk about those New Orleans years.
Okay, well, I'm just asking. I like to learn about the sports.
Yeah.
But so you weren't an Atlanta Hawks fan then? Weren't you? Did you grow up in?
No, I grew up in Columbus, Georgia, which is about an hour and a half from Atlanta. But you know, everybody liked Dominique back then,
right.
So you kind of if you didn't know anything else about the Hawks, you're like, yay, Dominique. And I was super hurt though when they traded him for Danny Manning, and then I just was so beside myself, which is again to have not been that much of a Hawks fan, but was like, how dare they do this? Dominique is an institution. What are you doing with Danny Manning? What is this? I was very hurt.
Well, you shrieked like a real fan, so I like that kind of enthusiasm. What is like one of your greatest memories about basketball, NBA, WNBA, growing up, and then like what's one of the worst disappointments?
Let's see. One of my favorite games. I can't remember what year. I don't know if this was in the '93 finals. I can't remember. I just remember it was Dan Marley, and I just remember he hit a bunch of threes.
Right.
Because for some reason that was the year that I hated the Bulls, and I had no reason why to hate them. But I was like, I love the Phoenix Suns for some unknown reason. I think it's because Charles Barkley had just got traded to them, and I'm like, yeah, the Phoenix Suns, this is great. And but yeah, Dan Marley, I want to say he hit like maybe 6 threes, and like they were. Like he was, deep, like way away from the,
very far
whatever
away.
the standard regulation line thing was. But it was great, and that was one of my favorite. That was one of my favorite games because I was like, yes, it's gonna happen. The Phoenix Suns are gonna win,
because Phoenix, yay! Were you just a Barkley fan? Were you just a Barkley fan, and then you like went all in?
That's the thing, and this is what's crazy. I was kind of vaguely aware of Charles Barkley before.
Mm-hmm.
I knew he played for the Sixers, and then I know that when he got traded to the Suns, for some reason that just made me be like, oh my God, I love Charles Barkley. But that was back then. I have no love for him now.
Oh, okay.
The round mound of rebound.
The round mound of rebound, Gary says.
Right, and he went to Alabama.
Right.
So I think it was at Auburn.
No,
I can't
Who,
remember.
Charles?
Was it
Yeah.
Alabama?
Auburn.
Auburn. Yeah.
The boys say Auburn.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay,
I just.
know. Yeah.
What do I know?
I can't remember. Some school in Alabama that I hated because I was in Georgia, so I had to hate everything in Alabama.
Bobby Knight wouldn't let him be on the Olympic team because he was too chubby and he didn't follow orders.
Well, I don't think Bobby Knight was wrong, factually incorrect about any of that.
Right.
So now tell us, Mia. You mentioned University of Georgia, and that's where you went to school, and you seem like you're sort of a fan of Bulldog sports. Is that?
I am.
That was.
Yes, I am. It is a.
What were some of the great things that happened? What were some of the great things that happened when you were there, or since you've been there?
Oh my gosh, there was so much. Like one of the things that I remember that was pretty amazing. I think this had to have been. We lost to Tennessee like several years in a row, and I think this might have been around the time when Peyton Manning was the quarterback. So they were pretty unstoppable around that time. And I want to say this, of course, this might have been the year after he left, of course, but they played in Athens, and I think we had lost to them 4 years in a row, and finally we won, and things got so out of control that the fans tore down the field goal, tore down the goals.
Wow.
And people took pieces of the goal, like the foam and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And people in downtown Athens passing around pieces of the goal.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was crazy. It was
like
a great game.
Like a zombie attack on the goalpost, kind of like just tore it to shreds.
Yes.
Right.
Right. Instead of saying like, I want this foam. I want the foam.
I want the foam. So since you're such a Georgia fan, we decided we play a game every week, a tailored game every week for our guests, our comedy guests, and we're gonna do a little bracket. We looked up like all these famous Georgia alums, athletic alums, right? And we have a little best of 8 bracket thing. We've all filled out a bracket like it's the NCAA tournament, and we've made our picks, and we're gonna make our little arguments for who we should win in each round. Right, but you get to instead of them playing a game, you just kind of decide who you think is the better person who should move forward and ultimately be named the ultimate, best, greatest Georgia athlete ever kind of thing.
Now I told my wife there's only 2 Georgia athletes that could win this, and that the whole thing was useless other than that. But we'll see.
Right.
We'll see.
Well, let's see who can you tell me who you already picked? I already know one.
No, okay. Well, we're gonna go through. So it's 8. Okay. And the first matchup is Matthew Stafford versus Teresa Edwards, who is a gold medalist.
You know what?
WNBA.
Oh, I gotta go with Teresa Edwards.
Right.
I gotta go with Teresa Edwards.
I agree.
I want to say she was my commencement speaker. I think she spoke at my graduation.
Oh, maybe. Do you disagree with that? Do you disagree with that, Drew? Are you disagree? I picked Teresa Edwards.
Stafford had a better college career.
Yeah, but this is like ultimate best athlete of all time kind of thing. She's in
at
halls
Georgia.
of fame and stuff. I
Georgia.
didn't say at Georgia.
No,
Who said at Georgia? I didn't say at Georgia.
I'm going with.
Girls
we're
stay
going with
together,
Teresa.
I guess,
That's who I'm picking.
Who did you pick, Gary?
I picked babyface Matthew Stafford.
But I have to say that he is babyface. But Gary, I had to look up who Teresa Edwards is, and Gary's the one who pointed. We had a huge long list of 100 athletes, and Gary picked her out to put on this final 8.
No, I don't say she's nothing. I just the NFL carries a lot.
Well, I
of
got
weight.
Teresa Edwards. What do you got there, Mr. Bishop? Who?
Right. I said Matthew Stafford as well.
Oh, well, I'm ahead right now.
But it's all good.
How dare you?
It's fine.
I'm not against him.
You're not against him, but you're not for him.
Just in this round.
Well,
just in this round.
All right.
Well, the next round is Dominique Wilkins or Fran Tarkenton.
That's a ridiculous choice.
Well, I'll tell you, I picked Dominique. Gary, who'd you pick?
That's really tough.
Or maybe we should let her pick first.
Fran Tarkenton's a Hall of Fame
don't let her.
quarterback.
Okay, so who would you pick, Dominique Wilkins or Fran Tarkenton?
She's going to pick Dominique Wilkins. No doubt.
Who would I pick?
Who would you pick to go forward? It's your choice. You're the
You know
judge.
what? I have to go with history here, and I have to go with.
You have to go with what?
I mean, it's just. I have to go with Fran Tarkenton just off of
Really? Oh, that's an upset. That messes up my bracket.
I know.
All right, you so you think just big view? He's better history for Georgia and going on to that. Wow, who'd you have, Gary?
I think Dominique Wilkins is there's a special Hall of Fame inside the Hall of Fame where only the very best ones get to go, like a super clubhouse up at the top. And I think he's in that, so I got to pick Dominique.
Who did you have, Drew?
One of the best basketball players of the 80s.
But now we know she was a Hornets fan. I kind of thought she was going to be a Hawks fan. What about you?
I'm a Celtics fan, and I had to pick Wilkins.
Okay.
Well, that was his greatest ever he did was those things with Bird when they were shooting it out in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, he could play. Plus, he has a 30 of a 30 about him.
He does, and it's great, and that's
Does
why
Fran
I know
Tarkenton have
about
one?
him.
No.
Exactly.
I did Wilkins as well.
Ah,
All right.
All right. Well, let's.
So far, I guess very controversial.
Yeah, very controversial. Bracket buster.
Yes.
All right. The third pair. Who would you pick between these two? Hines Ward and Bubba Watson.
I gotta go with Hines Ward.
All right. Well, everybody.
Going with Hines Ward.
Who'd you have, Mr. Bishop?
I had Bubba.
Oh, but Mr. Bishop had Bubba. The rest of us had Hines Ward. Yeah. Bubba seems like an interesting guy, but I don't think he's done as much. I think
He
Hines
fell
Ward
off
was a VIP.
after he won a couple. He fell off.
Yeah. And then here's our last initial couple, and then we'll get to the semifinals here. Sheila Taormina, Taormina, and Herschel Walker. Have you heard of Herschel Walker?
Oh, come on, Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker is the one.
Do you know who Sheila Taormina is?
I don't know who that is.
She's the only female U.S. athlete to go into 3 different Olympics in 3 different sports. Swimming, she won a gold medal, and she was in pentathlon, and she was in the triathlon.
Yeah, okay.
A bunch of sports.
Did you pick that person, Blair? Is that why you're pushing so hard for that person?
I picked that person.
The pentathlon.
Do you not know who Herschel Walker is?
No, I picked Herschel Walker.
I narrowed the 200-person list down to about 20, and that was not on it.
No, I Herschel Walker is who I picked also. All right, so here we go into the semifinals. Teresa Edwards or Fran Tarkenton.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Fran Tarkenton.
All right. Anybody? None of us have Fran. So, and then we got Hines Ward or Herschel Walker.
Gotta go with Herschel Walker.
All right.
Of course you do. He's the only
And then
choice.
here's the big final. So we got Fran Tarkenton. It's a little controversial. I thought Dominique Wilkins was going to be in his spot. Fran Tarkenton.
He only went there for 2 years.
But, I see. Well, you have your own criteria. You're the judge, and you get to decide. But that's interesting. I hadn't thought of it. That he didn't graduate from there. All right, good to know. Fran Tarkenton or Herschel Walker, who is the #1 ever University of Georgia Supreme Athlete?
I'm gonna go with Herschel Walker.
Yes.
Of course.
Woo! We all had.
Gave me names. I'm like Herschel Walker.
Right, exactly.
Even I, who don't know much, doesn't know much.
I told you before this started there was only one choice, and you argued with me.
The reason I know Herschel Walker is because I grew up in New Jersey, and he played for the Generals. The New York, New Jersey Generals in the
Donald
USFL.
Trump-owned New Jersey Generals.
Yes, the Donald Trump-owned New Jersey Generals, and we did a whole piece several episodes ago, Mia, where we talked about the history of how Donald Trump almost basically bankrupted the USFL. It's very interesting.
I know. I got to listen to it then because I saw the ESPN thing about it. I think that's what I was watching.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It was pretty amazing. Pretty amazing and not shocking.
No, right. It's one of those things that's both amazing and not shocking. Hey, Mia, we have so loved having you on the show, and you're so much fun. And I know you're very busy, so thank you so much for taking the time. And I hope your Bulldogs do well this year.
You know what? My fingers are crossed, but they're actually playing today, and I'm hoping it turns out well.
Well, we hope that for you as well. All right, thank you so much, Mia. Have a good one. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Whoops. I
Whoops.
turned the phone off.
That's why I love Southern women, because she could have been 18 or she could have been 80.
Right, when
It's
she
just-
the
it's just-
busy and the
Yep.
the woo and the woo woo and all.
Yep.
You know, I'm not Southern.
I'm just saying.
Okay, just pointing out. I'm just saying. All right, guys. Oh, that was super fun. I love the enthusiasm. All right, well, I guess that's gonna pretty much wrap it up for us this week, listeners. You can join us next week when our guest will be comedian Zach Moss. Thanks to our contributors, Joe Perot, Dink Kearney, and Wills Maxwell. To download episodes and make sure you get them every week, subscribe in iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at My Fantasy Wife Podcast, Twitter at My Fant Wife. Thank you, Mr. Bishop, for taking us out with the jazz trumpet stylings of Mr. Al Hurt.
You done good, son. Here you go. Pull yourself a dip. For you are now the original Gator Hater.
Woo! But you said I was the original Gator Hater, Daddy.
Nope.
You remember that time you punched out your own teeth to show them Gators how tough you were?
Go Dogs, sick 'em.
Me and you, we had that bond, that Gator Hater bond.
I have reinvalidated the saturation, and I have convoluted that you ain't wild. You're mild. We had us a good run, son. You know, good memories. But it's Herschel's time now.
But Daddy, did you say Herschel?
Yes, I have dubbed the Herschel Walker Counter. Them dogs as hell, don't they? He's a prodigy.
Oh,